That made me feel better. I appreciate that.
So we're ready?
Yep, we're all set.
Okay, so, this is a meeting of the Town of Webster Zoning Board of Adjustments, and, it is May 14th, 2024, and we'll have the secretary take attendance.
So, Barbara Corliss?
Yeah, I don't have that little piece of paper, but.
Oh, no, I'm the secretary now, remember?
Oh, thank God.
Say, hey.
Here.
Here, Tyler Show.
Here.
Marty Vander,
Present?
Dee,
Here.
and Sue.
Yes.
Now we're missing Robert Clagus and Robert Drown.
Okay.
Bravo. I thought I'd be useful.
You are very useful.
And we don't have any hearing today, so we'll start by just, I think the first thing we have to do is look at the minutes.
Yep.
And we should actually do that on a regular basis. I usually do not. I was frequently, oh yeah, just as we were getting out of here, you know, I said, yeah, quick. Everybody had any problem with the minutes? Nope, let's go. No, so no, we'll do that first now, okay? So, does anybody have any problem with any of the minutes?
No, I read them and I do not.
I do. February 13th, I was not needed.
You were what?
I was not needed and I left. If you guys remember, I left. That was the night we had, didn't we have several that night? Or was that March 12th? No.
Didn't you participate in the first case and
I
then left
asked,
after?
I asked a couple of questions, yes, but you have me as voting on all of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't vote, I wasn't even here, so I didn't even comment. So the first one I did,
Okay,
because
so
I
we
asked
can
about the
remove you off
lottery.
the, yeah.
yeah,
no.
well, that's important.
So on February 13th, we
Okay.
can remove you, we can do that one as amended and remove you as a voting.
No, and I wasn't there for any of the rest of them.
Right.
Wasn't even present, so.
Didn't I mention in the minutes that you left the meeting? Cause
Well, you've got me as yes, no, I don't believe you,
Cause I'll just change it and put it in a thing that you left the meeting after that time.
correct. The other thing with that one, we gave him a year, and I didn't see that in the minutes.
You
We gave,
To clean up his
Mr.
mess.
Chesley a
Yeah.
year,
Oh.
correct? That's not documented unless somebody sees it and I missed it. I might have missed it because I read these pretty quickly, today. But that's something that's important. It should probably be in the minutes. I'm pretty sure we discussed that pretty heavily, did we not?
We did.
So,
I don't remember, I mean, yeah, we did say that, but, did we say how that can be enforced?
Well, we gave him a year to clean it up.
Yeah, but it's not like he comes back before us.
Well, it should be in the minutes, so it's documented
that
somewhere.
it was a year. We gave him a timeline.
Yeah.
As far as our enforcement,
Right, well, yes,
I mean, we
Right,
can't,
yeah.
we aren't responsible for that, correct?
Right.
D is.
right. What?
Yep.
We'll pass that off to D,
Right.
because she's here.
No.
And if you need a hammer, D, I'll be right behind you.
No, you The planning board put a year in their
We'll bring our
requirements.
police hats with us.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
What was that, Russ?
I said the planning board put a year in their requirements for the fencing and all that stuff.
Cause that, but we
Right.
we
But
did
again,
discuss
it's
it.
gonna be
and-
whoever's doing the enforcement.
Right.
Yeah. But, hey, at least we've got the rules, right, so.
Well, our minutes should reflect what we discussed,
Yeah,
correct?
Right,
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
so is there anything else that anybody saw?
Yeah, I remember seeing possessive, it should have been a plural, and I can't find it now. I was reading it when I didn't have a pen in my hand, and now I can't find it. But other than that, no substantive changes, no. Oh yeah, I found it. March 12th. Member Roberts informed the board that paragraph, third one down, neighbors possessive. It's got a apostrophe S.
So we're doing any of the minutes and all the minutes, we're not doing just one at a time? Cause I do have a concern about these minutes too.
What, the first ones?
March 12th, are we going through them all? I didn't mean to be ignorant, but I
Well,
guess.
no, go ahead, I mean.
Okay, March 12th, I don't think Bobby was here, was he? We met downstairs, remember, that was the meeting that I was late at
Yeah, okay.
because I didn't
No, you're
get
right.
the email.
No, you're right, Bobby wasn't there.
Okay,
So remove Bobby.
yeah, and then I proposed to Marty, and my words were, and I remember Dave was standing behind at the door and Dee was sitting, and I said, the select board won't listen to Sue Roberts, Marty, but they will listen to you, and if you write a letter, I will back you up, and that's what I said. I don't know that that's a big deal for these minutes, but that is what I did, and that is what I said. I didn't propose the letter. I proposed the letter, I didn't propose a meeting, and when Marty said, I think we should have a joint meeting, I agreed. I thought that was brilliant, so, I'm not trying to be technical, but
So you wanted to say something like, you
Well,
discussed it with
if-
Marty and Marty suggested having.
we
a
were
joint
all
meeting?
there, we all discussed it.
Yeah,
Well, but Bobby wasn't there.
But Bobby
Bobby
wasn't
wasn't
there,
there.
correct.
so state it like, the ZBA discussed it and decided to hold a joint meeting.
Correct, because it was kind of all of us agreed at that point that we do have a problem.
Okay,
I can't take all the credit for being a bitch. No.
Strike that.
Well,
Strike it from the record.
it's the truth, you know? A lot of people feel that way.
so that's the 13th, and there was one other, 312 and 416. So we're amending all three?
Where are you?
We have three sets of minutes.
Correct, I haven't hit 416 yet.
Okay, so now we're gonna hit 416.
Yeah, I was just giving you time,
Okay.
buddy.
I'm ready to get beat up.
No, don't.
I say
don't
that
take
all
it
the
that way.
time.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
So, on this one,
Wait, are you saying April 14th?
April 19th,
No.
April
Oh,
9th.
Okay,
Sorry.
thank, no, I'm just wondering, am I writing this wrong or what? Okay,
No.
sorry, sir.
Oh,
All right,
April
no,
9th,
don't
I
be-
did a typo here on the agenda.
So, on April 9th, when we all discussed this, I ended up going home and having some real thoughts about it, and these are the thoughts kind of that came from that. Tom Bay, as I recall, said that he had filed reports that were not followed up on. Now, those weren't his exact words, because I don't have he did say he was concerned because he did have concerns about this. I think what he says speaks to your enforcement issue that we've discussed so many times, that I believe you've discussed with probably everybody here. I, for one, feel that Mr. Bay, who I don't know at all, made a significant statement when he said that. And I think you have the video, you could go back and hear that.
Right.
And I think that should be in these minutes, because it speaks to that issue. And if we are going to pursue this and make this happen, we need to have the people that actually do the work documented as speaking to the issue, correct? I don't mean to be petty here, but
No.
it states our case.
Needed in writing
Right.
everywhere, yes.
So, I can't remember exactly what he said, and I don't mean, I know you got enough to do, but I think
No, I can
his
look into it.
statement was, and I remember when I walked away from that meeting, I was like, did I hear what I thought I heard? I later discussed it with Adam Mock. I also discussed it with the police chief, and I discussed it with Phil. And I asked them, what did you hear? And they heard what I heard. And I said, what are these reports? Where was his concerns that he brought forward that he said we have an issue with? You know, that was my concern. So he's the guy out there right now that we have doing the job as enforcement as close as we have.
Building though,
Huh?
not building enforcement.
Right, but he's the closest thing we have right now, and he spoke to it, clearly saying we have an enforcement issue. So I just want you to listen and get your perspective, because it speaks to your concern. And if we're gonna get what we need, we have to do it, you know what I mean? We have to build the case, as they say. And then there's nothing here in these minutes, and I don't think you're gonna have an answer, because I don't think there was clearly one there. What was decided? How did we decide to pursue it? We didn't really come to anything. And I don't,
We didn't.
I don't know if it was Rob or if it was you, Guy, that stated, maybe it was Barbara. We don't wanna be doing this again 10 years from now. We need to move ahead, and it's not being rude to anybody. It's not like anybody's not doing their job. It's how do we do it?
Well, it's up to the select board.
Well,
Correct, but they have to have
so
all
at the
the facts.
recent meeting, the select board gave me and Dana the authority to go to the town attorney without having to go to the vote of the select board.
Which we did discuss that,
So
yeah.
which is why those two that were brought up at the meeting letters have already been sent. And I'm
Okay.
already working on them, so they're getting done.
Okay.
That's awesome. So,
Um,
this brings me to my next concern. Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead.
Chairperson Hemingway said, which I remember looking at Marlowe's face, and it turned about as bright red as it could turn. And Mrs. Young's, and everybody's head started spinning, and it was that if someone creates this complaint form, which, writes it out, they can't be a person who rules on it,
Yeah,
Right.
that,
okay?
Yes.
All right, I get it. But I don't. There's a lot that goes on with that issue. So, hang on, Marty,
Go ahead.
this leads me to my next one, which,
Okay.
I'm just gonna blow you out of the water on this one. But you're gonna go, you kinda have a point. We sat here the other night and we discussed Gamil's, Higgins's, the 127 driveways. I mean, we put names to these things. The Deer Meadow Road shed, the one that you said that guy should have sued us for not giving him a second
Pillsbury
driveway,
Lake
but yet
driveway.
we gave somebody else a second driveway. And then there was, we talked about the Little Hill project. Everybody here that was in this room now can't vote on these things,
well,
and I think this needs to be looked into. I
I-
really do.
I can send you a video on it, so I just took the class on it last weekend. And there was a whole thing about enforcing ZBA decisions, and they discussed that topic right then. And they said the ZBA and the planning board should have nothing to do with code enforcement.
No,
They
I'm
should
not
get
talking
involved in
about,
it, and they shouldn't bring up the complaints either.
We discussed it in this room the other night.
Right.
This has nothing to do with code enforcement at this point in time. What I'm saying to you is that we discussed all these issues.
Right.
But yet, we're not supposed to bring them forward, but yet we discussed them all. And we're all the
But
people, every
We're not
person.
bringing them forward. Somebody else would bring them to
Right.
us, and that's
Right.
But we
where the
discussed
nut
this.
is.
No,
So
no,
that's where the
because-
nut is, you're right.
Yeah,
Because-
we've already talked about it.
Because you're the adjudication board, you're not supposed to be the one, you
Yep.
know, you're supposed to be the impartial person who is the jury and the judge when somebody comes in with the issue. And if you're not impartial, then you've got an issue.
Pretty clear how impartial all of us were.
Well,
Well, that's,
I think
that's the
okay.
thing.
I mean,
Even if we're just saying there's a problem, is that a problem?
I don't think that's a problem.
I mean, if I see my neighbors doing something that violates the zoning code, I don't fill a complaint out, I just mention it to my fellow board members. Is that enough to say you
No,
should
but-
recuse yourself?
But right there, according to
Once
Dave,
again, I think that's one of those things, you're gonna wanna talk to legal about that, I think you really should. And I will also send that video out that I watched last weekend, that they talk about this subject right here.
Okay.
And they talk about how, you know, if you have a member on a select board who's also on the ZBA member, and the select board is the one doing the code enforcement auction, the select board member should not vote on it when it gets to the ZBA. You should not do that. Cause you're already part one and you
Makes
can't be
sense.
part of part two too.
Okay.
Right.
But these are not coming from me, this is coming right from the attorneys from the New
Yeah.
Hampshire
right, so
Department
we're
of
already in
Strategic Commission.
violation if you think about it.
Well, if the case comes before us, then we have a
No,
problem.
but then what's Dee supposed to do? She's on the select board and so now.
So she has to recuse herself. If it's
Can't
something,
vote, I
if
guess.
it's something that she did as a select person, I would say no, she has to recuse herself. If-
Like if the select board said no to somebody,
Right.
and it comes back to here,
Right.
then I can't say anything.
Right.
Well,
yeah,
wait a minute,
because-
it's already gone through us.
No, hasn't gone through us.
Have it gone? Okay,
No.
maybe back up then.
No.
No.
It starts with that.
Okay, let's take an I'm just thinking, an example. Okay, let's say it's, the guy on Little Hill
Mhm.
with his VW,
Okay,
right? And I have certainly said, I'm saying it right now, clearly,
Right.
yeah, it seems to me it's a violation, right? Does that mean that just because I see it as a violation, does that mean that he can't come before me?
that's what I'm asking here.
And
Do you see what
I-
I'm saying?
well, on the other hand, okay, so let's say Dee has already voted on it as a select board, right? That's something, but I haven't voted on, I mean, I'm giving an opinion
Okay.
now, sort of. I'm just saying, hey, to me, it's pretty clear it's a violation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now he's gonna come before us, eventually, maybe he'll come before us. But does that mean I can't say, yeah, we can grant you
Right.
the,
Which we
the,
we
Well,
would.
that I think that also comes to what they're applying for. So if they're applying for an appeal from an administrative decision of the select board,
yeah,
D couldn't talk to
can't.
that.
That's
Right.
when Dee can't vote.
Yeah.
But if they're going for a variance, maybe, I don't know.
But see,
you
that's
need-
where it, if you remember in that meeting, it got dicey, because Dave was very clear on that. If you make out the
Yeah,
complaint
but
form, you can't.
Dave can't tell anybody they're required to recuse themselves. Nobody can tell any member of this board they're
Right.
required to
right,
recuse
that's
themselves.
something.
That you
that-
have to make the decision,
Right.
nobody can force
And,
you to
and
do it.
actually, yes, but the court could then say, if this went to the court, somebody appeals our decision, goes to the Superior Court, right? And let's say it goes from the Superior Court to the Supreme Court, right? They can say, no, he shouldn't have heard the case. He should have
Which-
recused himself.
We're way ahead of what I'm saying is
Right.
what Dave said
Yeah,
and how people interpreted it, we need to be clear on. We just need to know, can we vote or can't we vote? If we make out a complaint form, can we vote? The problem with that is you can do it anonymously anyway, so.
right, yeah.
Ultimately, it's up to the person voting.
You know,
Okay, so Dave was wrong.
I mean,
Yeah, well, Dave is not a lawyer,
Yeah.
Okay, well,
you know? And I seem to remember, now, I'll have to go back and look, because I did take notes during that.
but I mean, Mr.
Right.
Fournier got upset about it. I mean, everybody was like, kinda like, and it was just chilling. I mean, everybody was going 100 different ways, at which we do at these meetings to try to figure out a way to go. And we're not all gonna agree.
So
But
I had a,
if
I
we
had
are
some notes
supposed to
here.
recuse ourselves, we should
Well,
know.
then basically, you'd have to have pretty much everybody.
That's
recused.
what I thought.
Right.
How
And-
can
and
you even
can't-
function in
right.
this small
Yeah.
town? Right?
Yeah,
Right.
I'm remembering Copart, and I recused myself on that one because, well,
Because you're neighbors.
George Cummings came after me for that one, because I had spoken out loud in public meetings about it. And I was thinking, personal thought, I have no skin in the game with Copart. Why would I recuse myself? Marty pointed out that if it goes up the chain to the Superior Court or the Supreme Court, then it looks like it queers the deal. For that reason, I recused myself from that decision. So I think it really boils down to an individual, you know, considering what have you done, not in public on a YouTube video, but what have you done that, you know, could end up at a higher court
correct.
turning it down?
And usually, from what I understand, almost always, somebody who says, I'm not gonna recuse myself, and I'm talking about judges, right? They almost always, they'll live up to whatever they decided. Of course, the one who was the most well-known is Clarence Thomas. When he should have recused, everybody says he should recuse anything to do with Trump. He should recuse himself because his wife is so involved with Trump, and he doesn't.
Yeah.
You know, and there's nobody you can say anything. He has absolutely, he can do whatever he wants.
That's why we need more board members up there.
Well, but again, you know, that's the problem of the whole idea of recuse yourself,
Yeah.
you know? Usually, I mean, I think I've recused myself once or twice.
I remember once that, the one on Clifton Bridge Road.
Right, because she was a good friend of mine.
Good friend of yours, yeah?
Right, and so, and I don't think that necessarily I would have had to recuse myself.
No, but I think it was smart to do.
Right, you do it
Yeah.
in good conscience.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, but I don't think I would have had to, you know? I think I could have, you know, on the other hand, I believe that you're supposed to recuse yourself if you are an abutter, right? That's, I think, it's almost a rule, I think, but I think, you know, you can say, no, I don't, you know, I don't care if it's my neighbor. You know, I don't know, it's.
Well, I'm concerned about the ones that we did discuss coming back before us now.
No, wait, when you think about it, right?
Because we have discussed it in open court. Yeah, I don't know if they will ultimately come back, but if they do, every board member was here to discuss it.
Right.
Correct.
Right. And so then what do you do? What they could do then is they would simply, I'm just guessing, they would simply say, hey, we're not even gonna deal with the zoning board, we're still gonna take it right up to the Superior Court. You know?
That's an option, yes.
Yeah, but I don't think they're gonna wanna do that, you know, because the whole idea of dealing with using the state, you know, the state court, that's expensive to the state.
And
you know?
2 years down the road before you get a decision.
Oh, yeah, right.
At
Unless we
least.
go to the Housing Board of Appeals, which is a little bit quicker, but
But that's only on certain things. I mean,
Yeah.
certainly, you know, they couldn't use that housing appeals for, you know, for the Little Hill Road.
yeah,
No.
probably.
Right, that's not housing.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just,
Yeah, I mean, it's just,
because they were discussing that at the meeting, you got really two options, and both options don't have the same powers afforded to them, and you don't have the same remedies from each
Yeah.
court system.
so, I mean, I think the way that it would be handled is they would say, go ahead, you know, you, the ZBA, yes, it might sound like you were somewhat prejudiced, right? And you did deny him, right? Let him go to the Superior Court then,
He'd end up going there anyway.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, and the Supreme Court, and the Superior Court might say, well, you know, they should have recused themselves, but I'll hear it anyway. You know, I will make a decision. and I think that's what happens anyway. I think usually they end up, well,
Well,
they
the
don't
point
quite.
is that, you know, me and Dana, when we work on this stuff on the staff end, are gonna try to keep it out of these two boards' hands as much as possible, so that if it does go before you, you'll be able to do what you gotta do.
Yeah,
And hopefully it doesn't get to the point where it goes to the boards that people are willing to fix it, but
You
it
never
really
know.
depends on the person.
yeah.
So essentially, maybe when we talk about people or issues, we should be talking hypothetically.
Well, and also remember,
And no addresses or.
Yeah.
yeah, but the worst thing is for us to discuss them not here in front of the, the video.
And you can
Right.
always come into my office
Because-
or call me on the phone and ask me questions, that's always a thing
Yeah.
too.
But really, because, for us to, like, let's say Dee and I, we get out here and then we start bad mouthing, whatever. Right,
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
true, yeah.
Right, that is what we're not supposed to do. Definitely not. And I know it's hard not to. I mean, it's especially when, your neighbors, I mean, I remember, I mean, yeah, it's hard not to talk, out of, but anyway,
Yeah, everybody does it,
right, yeah.
yeah.
Small town, that's what happens.
Yeah, yeah.
Small
Yeah,
town.
right.
Well, no, and I mean, there's one place I think of, and I won't say any names, but it's basically, I consider it a health issue. And we don't seem to be doing anything about that, so.
I
also
actually
a
find it
public-
beneficial to bounce these ideas, what about this particular property or whatever? I think it's in violation of something and, health issues. I mean, we're not a health board. So,
No.
yeah, can we talk about those things out of
Fire,
this?
health, I mean, I see a number of things, and,
Well, if it's health related, I would talk to Roy about it.
it's pretty hard to miss. See? But,
And if it's a
That
certain
complaint
one-
form that he just put up on the
Yeah.
web,
when did that get made, anyway?
That was made like 2.5 years ago.
How come nobody knew about it? That's
Yeah.
what I,
kind of blindsided
I made
me.
it
Yeah.
a while ago.
Where do you
I'm glad
find-
it's there.
I mean, obviously,
It's under the select board, I think, and under the building department.
I mean, I'm use the website pretty frequently,
Yeah, I-
and I
We can
guess.
try to find a better place to put it.
Yeah, no, it is, but I
I'm-
guess
I'm
I just
trying to
don't, I
work
just
on
don't
it.
run across it, I
Yeah.
don't know.
It's not off the main page?
well, I
No.
kinda wonder, like, not to be, why we didn't discuss that back at,
And right now, I'm trying,
March 12th meeting, when we all got together. I mean, I didn't know about it then, and I don't think you guys heard about it when we talked about
no,
when I brought forward the enforcement issues. I felt stupid, to be honest with you.
No, I didn't know about it either, and,
Yeah.
been on this board for a long, long time. I'm wondering, is there anything else we don't know about?
for enforcement, nothing I'm aware of.
Okay. Well, I would like to be kept abreast of how it's going in the office for the enforcement side of this, to see if there's any extra things that need to be done. I don't know, aside from taking in the complaints and sending out the letters, is it working?
Well, right now, that's what we're gonna have to see at the next step. We've had several enforcement actions taken in the last couple of years, and they've usually gotten resolved. One of them I'm still working on, and that's a nightmare. Well, there's a couple that are a nightmare, and I think we know a couple of them.
Are these public knowledge?
For which
Well,
ones?
The complaints and the
Yeah.
processes that are happening.
So some of them are working, and they are public knowledge. People can come and ask about the complaints that were filed. One of them the board's already dealt with, and that's on Deer Meadow Road as well. And that's with the attorney, and that one was handled to the most that our ordinance will allow it to be handled.
You're
There-
talking about the,
The hot tub and the shed and the
Hot
boats,
tub, I didn't know there was a hot tub there.
and the boats, and
No, that's across the street. She's come in here and,
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
I'm trying to think of her
Right.
name.
so that was handled to the amount that our ordinance and our attorney said that we could handle it at the time. So that already went to town council and it's already been discussed. There was,
So the town council did something about that?
did what he could.
What he could?
The next one that has been long ongoing that I thought was resolved and then was not resolved is another one in, I think it's near New Hampshire Drive, where we received a report back that said it had been moved and then it hadn't been moved. So now I've, at the advice of the attorney, since we got the report that it wasn't moved when they said it was moved, that they have until June, and the beginning of June to move it, so we've scheduled an inspection at the beginning of the June, and if it's not moved at that point, it's going right to the attorney, there will be no more futzing around, it's just going right to the attorney, and no more nice guy. Cause they said they would move it, and they haven't moved it.
what is it on,
It's
Right.
a structure built too close to the property line, try not to give too many details, so,
but that's not the one on Deer Meadow Road.
No,
no, they just got,
That's
that
another
letter
one.
was just
Yeah,
sent.
right, that's one, a little bit too close to the road, you know.
Well, this one's not too close to the road, it's too close to a property line, you can't even see it from the road, you can only see it from the other person's property.
Does the violator pay the attorney's fees?
If we win,
Okay. Got it.
so is this, I'm gonna get ahead of you guys. Is this helping us figure out what we're lacking, in our zoning? So that we don't hear statements like, the attorney did what he could do. That's telling me we need to tighten something up. Am I hearing you wrong?
I'm not hearing that. I'm thinking, we really have very loose, light zoning in this town. I mean, you don't need a permit to put in a hot water heater.
No.
There's certain things we don't have to do,
right,
but when the attorney has done all the attorney can do, it goes to the court.
Right,
So-
but is that what the attorney's saying, or
no, I
back
think
two cases?
you're better off with what you're saying, our ordinance does not limit certain things
They
on a
can't do
lot,
anything.
because we don't have restrictions on, say,
I get it.
Yeah, that's where I'm going. So, if we can get the guidance from the attorney as to what we need to do to make it correct, that's what we need. I don't know where that goes. Does that go to the select board, the
Planning
planning
board.
board?
Planning board.
Correct, so that's
and
what we
I'm
need to do.
trying to work on a couple issues with the planning board. For example, it says the sale of home goods shall be permitted in the entire town, but nowhere in our ordinance does it define what home goods are.
Okay.
So I think that's a very glaring
Like
loophole.
you might be building a nuclear reactor.
That's a home good,
Right,
as long as you can make a real good argument
that's
for
right,
it.
yeah. I just designed.
Well, and it
my-
depends how good your
my house,
attorney is,
you know?
right? I
But
mean,
It's
that's,
just it's a little nuclear
I am
reactor.
just wondering if there is a state law that defines home goods that you could link it to, or just fix the definition page to make the definitions a little bit more clear. So I'm gonna discuss that at the next planning board meeting when we discuss future zoning, if we can go through the definitions and kind of link them to the state RSA's and try to make sure things are very clear on what we're stating in our ordinance.
Okay, so,
Thank you.
Russ, I am still looking for, how do I file a complaint? I mean, I started out by looking,
I mean, well, then this is one of those things that's good to talk about, because if you can't find it, then nobody can find it.
yeah, I mean, I started out with
Because for
town
me,
resources, right? Nothing there, or at least
So-
nothing that's obvious. Then I looked the easy access, and I tried forms and application, but I don't see anything which tells me how to file a complaint.
It's buried.
It is buried.
so it's if you go under departments, under building department, it says code enforcement complaint form.
So,
Well, see, here we go again. Building. That's
Yeah.
not zoning.
Right.
And I
And
see
So-
a zoning enforcement officer as being a whole different skill set than building
And that's-
enforcement officer.
And right now, I know want this building permit, and Dave seems to be all for it, but you can't enforce what you got already, so let's start where we need to start, and with zoning. And
So,
Keep
One
going
of the
back
things
to,
with having
it's a different animal.
A
I'm
permit
still not
in the
even finding
beginning
it.
is,
What did you
it'll
say?
make it
It's-
easier to enforce.
It's under,
I'm sorry?
I think having people have to come to the office to get the permit before they build makes it a lot easier to enforce it after the fact. Cause if
Oh,
you didn't
yeah, I
get a
would think
permit,
so.
Sure.
well, yeah, right?
and
now
then,
you're starting a whole nother process. You gotta have somebody that can get out there and you wanna stop speeders, you gotta have somebody there with a gun going, yep, 72 miles an hour, I'm gonna go after that person. We don't
Because-
have anybody. You're not the enforcement person. And you can't be.
I mean, I'm trying, but.
No,
No, you
you
can't be.
can't be.
You can't be.
You can't
You
be.
gotta be eyes on the road. You can't be.
You gotta be
We need you in the
person-
office.
Yeah, if that's what you've chosen to do is what you're doing, you can't do both. You said that one other time, and I said, there's no way you can do it, Russ. You can't be both, everybody's friend, and be code enforcement too. You need somebody that's cut in black and white and can, and you've gotta take their applications and help them fill it out, and you help them do all the, all the research, and look at what you do for these people.
Well, I'm just
And then
gonna
all of a
say
sudden,
that.
you're gonna
Town.
be the other person to turn around and go, you're busted, no.
Well, that's what,
I keep going back to, in order to get it to the court, it has to have, all the checks along the way have to be done correctly. Building is different from zoning.
Yeah.
Right.
If we are taking a zoning issue to the court, we better make sure that everything that was done to get it to the court was done according to Hoyle. And if we have a building inspector doing zoning enforcement, it may not happen. Unless that person's gonna get really well schooled on zoning enforcement.
Did you find it, Marty?
No, I still can't find it.
I'm gonna make it easier. I'm gonna try to, and then I'm
Okay.
gonna have you look for it again.
Okay,
And right now, I'm also, and I was talking to Barbara before the meeting, I was trying to create it as a web form, because Dave had a good idea. And I am familiar with this website format, but the version we have is a lot cheaper than the other town I work for, who uses the same format.
Mhm.
And it's not the same for creating a web form. And I can't do it on this website without having to talk to somebody and have them walk me through it.
uh-huh,
Because before it was just, I select the field, I choose what I want the characters to be for the answer, you have 240 characters, these are the questions, go through, and then it shoots me an email with this doesn't work this way, this provides me a box, and I'm like, okay, I'm not a coder,
Yeah.
so I don't know how to do this.
There isn't a properties thing that says this is what goes in this box? A
Yeah.
date, a text, a
No,
whatever?
I don't know what I'm doing, so no.
If it were up to me, I would simply put it right under town resources or easy access. Either one of those,
I think
which
easy
simply
access is a
says
good spot.
complaints.
Yeah, I think,
Mhm.
yeah. Forms and applications is probably a good place.
I tried that, but I can't find.
You're saying it's up there now?
Well, it's not up there now, so I can put it in forms and applications.
Oh, it's
Oh,
not
it's
there
not
now?
there
Not
now.
there, it's under the building department, so I can
Okay.
put it
I thought you
under
were saying
forms and
I can't even
applications.
find the building department.
So you go under departments, they'll
Ah.
give you the drop-down menu, and then you click on building department, it's the fourth one down.
So, but the only way to find the building department is under search, right?
Oh, no, you can, so when you look for any department, you hover over the department, and then it shows you all the departments, and then you click on the one.
Sometimes on the phone too, it's harder.
Yeah, it's definitely harder on the phone.
Geez, I keep coming back to, don't put it under building. If I
Yeah,
look-
right, because it's not.
It's
Right.
not
No,
a
I
we're not
agree.
talking about-
issue.
It should be
No.
under zoning, if anything.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is the zoning board isn't the zoning enforcement board. That's the other thing, because the planning board does zoning, and the zoning board is the adjudication board.
Right.
Municipal government, it all works funky.
Yeah, it's still, if it's under zoning, it's a zoning complaint form.
Yeah.
It's not gonna come to us.
No.
It's gonna go to you, it doesn't matter.
Is this a generic form doesn't matter what the complaint is?
Do you-
Building,
Correct.
zoning,
It
anything
goes
else?
over the type of complaints and the process that's gonna happen once somebody makes a complaint.
So it's a
So,
generic form?
Construction proceeding without a permit, encroachment on setback areas, non-compliance with an approved site plan, operating a business without a permit. Those are the things that are cited in the permit. These are things that are included but not limited to, because there are other things in the ordinance you point out. And then it gives a brief paragraph of what the steps will be when it follows. For example, when we get the complaint, we send out Tom to go take a look at it. If Tom confirms that there is in fact a complaint, now the step is I send a letter.
So,
So
have
it
you
doesn't go to
actually
the select board.
gotten a complaint off of this?
No,
Never
because
mind.
nobody can find the
Right,
form.
right. I mean, I could see somebody coming in here.
And that's the problem, and then
Right.
Dean sat there and said, well, if you don't have the form, then, and then that,
I mean, I still can't.
basically, Dave backed you up on that, but if people don't have an avenue, this is what happens.
Yeah.
It just keeps swirling, and your problem, not to pick on you, because I'm not, you're complaining, and you're complaining to Barbara, and you say things to me, and you say things to, but we can't solve it because we can't find the form anyway, you know? So we need to do something.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, to me, this is pretty typical of, certainly, not for the town of Webster, but you think about,
Right.
think about what it's like, if you're in New York City, trying to file
No,
something.
I've worked on
It-
website stuff before, and a
Yeah.
lot of times when you build something, you get somebody else to take a look at it and see if they can find stuff. Because it makes perfect sense to you,
Right, it's like
Yeah.
writing a letter.
yeah.
Absolutely.
But not everybody can find it, so you need to find
Yeah.
somebody else to look at it and see if they can find it.
Yeah,
Is this a fillable PDF?
No, but I did create one.
Okay, and it just snatches the data out of it and sticks it someplace where you can get it?
So I'm gonna be changing the form here to the fillable PDF, but the way you would have to do it is you'd have to fill it in and then print it to PDF and then email it to me, because that's gonna
Oh,
be the way.
really?
Yeah. That's why I'm saying I need to work on the web form part, because the web form part I can't handle, so I'm trying to figure out how to do it with this website.
Yeah.
And then you get the people that don't wanna tell on their neighbor.
Right, and then if they,
Well, you wanna make it so they can do it anonymously. Yeah.
Correct.
yeah, which is, it says on there, it is anonymous, so you do not have to report on who you are.
Okay. Well, we've hashed this out well.
Well, it's the only way we're gonna move forward.
Absolutely.
And it's the only way,
yeah.
it's like, I'm not trying to be troublesome here about, like what Dave said or whatever, but what you're basically saying is Dave's not a lawyer and we shouldn't, but the way he spoke, we're all supposed to be doing it the way he's telling us to do it, and yet then we can't vote on it, so.
Well, my
It's like
biggest
Susan
problem is-
Young's was like, then we shouldn't complain, because then we can't vote on it. It's
My
like,
biggest problem is toothless laws. If you are not gonna have a way to enforce it, you shouldn't have the law.
and you got upset with me that day, and that's not, I did not mean that we shouldn't have zoning.
Oh,
It's
no,
that
I don't either.
It's a farce right now. It's a
It
complete
needs enforcement.
farce.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you get, then you get the people that come and yell and scream and holler at you, or yell and scream and holler at Emmett, or Paul King, and that's my point. That's not fair.
And what they really should be doing is coming, and if they don't like the zoning, people can go to the planning board and say what they don't like.
Correct.
Exactly. There's always another way to go at the law.
It's like,
Yeah.
Craig saying, we all just get together and talk about it. Well, we're kind of beyond that now, because we need to enforce it. But he's right. If we could all just sit down at a table sometimes and get it off our chest like we did the other night, but then you hear, we shouldn't even be talking about it. And it's like, how do you iron this stuff out?
You come in and talk to Russ.
Try to do what I can.
So, that was it for my minutes.
Okay, well, I
Well,
would,
let's hash over what we're changing, just to make sure I have the
Okay.
changes. So February 13th, we're removing you as a voting member.
Right, because I wasn't.
And we're adding Mr. Chesley has a year to clean up. Okay, on March 12th was the apostrophe, that was Barbara. And you said remove Robbie, and the ZBA discussed the whole of the meeting, that was the suggestion, not just you bringing it up.
Well, yeah,
And then on April 9th, you want
I think we need to
Tom
look into
Bay's
what.
comments of that, some of the decisions, some of the reports that he had put in had not been followed up on.
Yeah,
Are you comfortable with us approving this before you've looked at that zoning board minutes?
no, I
and-
think we wait.
No, you,
Thank you, that's what I was going for. Okay. Well, then I would make a motion that we approve with the amendments, February 13 and March 12th. And we will hold off on April until the next draft.
Second.
Yay.
Yay.
Yes.
okay. All right, now we're to the easy part of the meeting, hopefully.
You talking about the bylaws?
The bylaws.
Yeah.
I read them, I like them.
I have a few,
And now Marty's gonna beat me up.
yeah, I'm gonna be.
Yeah,
well,
but we,
no,
it's because we
actually-
care.
Right.
What's
Well, here's,
you.
here's a real easy one, okay? On the board members and officers, on number 3, I would take out the hyphen on pre-side.
Yeah, I was trying to move some of those.
Yeah, that's pretty easy.
I'm sorry, hyphen?
Where
Yeah,
is
there's
it?
a hyphen, it's actually the third line in
He she shall preside over meetings and hearings.
pre-side. right?
Preside, yes.
Yes, right. I'm assuming we have the same thing.
A hyphen?
I don't have a hyphen.
I don't have a hyphen.
Really? Okay. Well, I wonder how come mine did.
Oh, I thought I fixed those. Are you looking at the packet I handed out?
Yeah. Well, no, this one I think I downloaded.
I took off my email.
Yeah, I emailed a
Took it
more
up in here.
updated one.
Mine's okay, here.
Mine's okay.
The only thing I would fix is the he, she, which is twice in the bylaws, but the S doesn't need to be capitalized.
Oh, okay.
Other than that,
Okay, so wait a minute then. Okay.
Are you sure about that? Because somebody might have.
You do have it in front of you, Marty, so the packet's right there.
well,
in
giving
front
them
of
a
you.
feminine gender, it
Three
should be
packets
there.
in front of you.
So let me see.
Somebody might get upset.
And everybody was okay with the change I made,
Yeah,
that all
right,
such,
yeah, well, that's interesting.
all
Okay.
such board meetings will be recorded.
I did.
Oh, yeah,
I
so
was
did-
wondering about that.
Did that,
This is a question.
Okay,
So after the written record is done, we just get rid of the video recording?
wow, so
Ah,
we don't.
we don't, okay.
So, the select board, if you remember, Dee, I think you were on the board at that time, adopted a policy that all public hearings will be kept in perpetuity. So I download all the videos for public hearings and save them on the town's hard drive.
So,
So this video wouldn't be kept in perpetuity. So this is not a public hearing. So this one would be recorded, it would be left up on YouTube until YouTube got rid of it. And then
Until who gets rid of it?
YouTube, so it
so
would just,
it's on the cloud?
it would be in the
Right.
cloud until YouTube decided they
Okay.
wanted to clear out space and got rid of it.
Okay, so the rest of the
So-
ones are on,
The public hearings that we held, they're on our server and they're being kept permanently.
And-
gotcha.
And you said they're on the hard drive. Is it just on one hard drive?
It's on our server.
Oh, okay.
And when I
So-
said the hard drive, I meant
So
our
it's
server.
basically, it's in a cloud,
Yeah,
right?
well,
Okay.
we have a physical server, but we have cloud backups.
Okay.
But that's a good thing to keep
Right,
being
just
a
like-
writer all
isn't-
the time, sometimes, and we keep the whole thing, cause sometimes, like, when it's a one-word sentence from 40 years ago, you don't even know what it means.
Correct.
Right, and that's, I
And-
think, was part of the thing, is we wanted to keep some stuff for the Historical Society going forward, like all the town meeting videos. Those are being kept on the server so that we can preserve them so people can look back at them later.
That's right, that's history
And-
really, and
Stuff to look back at.
people, some
Is-
people remember different things from meetings.
Is that a
so-
state statute?
No.
No, it isn't? I thought the state had
So,
required every
We're
town.
only required to keep minutes.
Oh, okay.
so all the board meetings will be video recorded. Why are we saying then, clarify this for me, all such recordings will be kept until the written record is approved at a future meeting?
Because I won't delete the video until you guys have approved the minutes.
Right, but you're gonna delete, you're not gonna delete this one, you said?
Until the meeting, so we have two places where the video is stored. So the device back there is the Nano,
Yeah,
and it stores a certain amount of space on it. It has 100
Mm-hmm.
gigabytes to store on it. So it stores those videos and it keeps them there. And once we approve these minutes, I go into there and I delete it out of there.
okay, so what confused me is when you said it's gonna go up on YouTube and be there forever.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. I don't take it off the YouTube
Gotcha,
page.
okay, so,
I
but
just
you
deleted it
will
out.
delete it,
I
okay.
have to delete stuff out of there, because if I don't, it'll get full up. And
All
I
right,
won't
so
be
then
able
you
to-
said that you don't delete things. So my concern was like, not for this meeting, obviously, but in the future, if we did have a zoning, we voted a certain way and somebody came back and we ended up in court, would you have that video for?
So, the class I took recently answered that. The courts don't watch the videos. They go by your minutes.
Paper.
Okay,
go by the paper.
so then, yeah, so then why would we keep them, I guess, and that's what, that was my question.
The reason we keep them is for the reason I just said. We wanna keep the public hearings, because the public hearings are the big deals.
Right, but
And-
I mean for the zoning,
Oh, simply because if a case goes to the court, right, the court's gonna wanna see exactly what we did.
but he just said the court only goes by your
By
written
the
minutes.
minutes?
By the minutes.
Paper.
That's what the attorney said this weekend.
So
He
that's
said
where I was
They
asking.
don't, they say thank you for the video, but we don't wanna go through those, so they don't wanna watch the whole thing, so they're just gonna look at your minutes.
But you can use
So-
the video to create the minutes.
Right. Which is what I use them
Right.
for.
Yeah.
But if you're deleting them, which is where I was going, if I go back to my original question,
Then we're down to paper.
then you're just down to paper and you never have any of that backup,
Right.
correct?
Well,
Okay,
You know, that's
certain
interesting.
videos are saved, certain videos aren't.
I'm just, and again, you know, I mean, I haven't been in court for 25 years, you know, but, well, I've been in court, but anyway, I haven't been a lawyer in court, but anyway,
I haven't had to fight.
yeah. But
Were
it
you in
seems
court?
to me that, let's say there's a dispute over what the minutes say. I mean, like, let's say because after all, we're the ones who approve the minutes.
Right,
And let's say that for whatever reason, we have some different view of what, I mean, after all, you know, we're reading the minutes and we're saying, no, that's not what we said, right?
right,
And so we change the minutes, right? Like, let's say Russ writes the minutes as accurately as he thinks
right.
he's doing, right? But we're listening, we're looking over the minutes, and we're saying, no, that's not what we said, right? And so then, so the minutes are changed to reflect what we said, right?
But it might
And-
be wrong.
Yeah, it might be. And like, and I'm assuming, I guess I've never heard of this happening, but clearly, you know, this can go in front of a judge, and, you know, so the appellant, in front of the plaintiff in the court, right, is saying, no, that's not what happened. And the judge says, oh, I'm sorry, this is what the minutes say, and I just accept the minutes. And that just doesn't seem, you know, I mean, as far as I know, there hasn't been any case that's dealt with that.
Yeah.
But,
Well, I would think that they would be able to call witnesses. I mean, even if all there is left is a piece of paper, the defense can call their witnesses, the prosecution can call
But
their
again,
witnesses and say, we dispute what's in here, and the judge takes all those facts, right?
well, But again, isn't the judge gonna simply say,
Statements.
well, I'm sorry, that's what the minutes said?
I hear what you're saying, but I don't think he's gonna rely completely on that. At least,
Well, but-
that's not what I'm
but-
looking at in the.
But what
some of
Russ
the
is
trials.
saying is the judge is only gonna read the minutes, he's not going to, and I can
Look at the
understand.
video.
Well, I
I can
mean, the
understand
judge isn't gonna watch the video, but who says the prosecution didn't, or the defenders didn't watch it and then
Well,
say,
that's true,
we
too.
wanna bring this
Right.
as evidence and we're
Yeah.
gonna play this section of the
Right.
video
Correct.
Yeah.
to bring up my
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, somebody
Yeah.
could have kept it even if YouTube deleted it.
Well,
So
Yes,
somebody
it's a
kept
good
it
point,
and,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and late, 30 years from now, they're coming back and going, but this is a video of the meeting.
Right.
And that would be
Yeah.
evidence.
yeah. That is, if you could still get it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Well,
that's.
say
a-
for
it could've
example,
been on
our,
an
our
eight-track.
wonderful friendly historical society keeps all the videos before they get deleted.
Well, we're trying.
I mean, there they are.
Well, I think I understand it. So you keep some, you don't keep some.
It depends on the video, and, cause we don't have space to keep every single video, so we have to pick and choose what we can and what we're not going to.
I think the town meetings and public hearings should be kept.
Yeah, that was what we discussed when we did the policies. We
That makes
discussed
sense.
which ones were the ones that were important and we wanted to keep forever, and which were the ones that, cause there are some select board meetings where we don't really discuss
Pretty boring.
much, and pretty boring.
No.
But, okay, I can understand definitely keeping the ZBA, right?
Yeah.
Because that's, yeah. What about the planning board?
We keep planning board public hearings are also kept.
Okay.
And then we have, if
But
you look at the policy, there's a whole pattern of which ones who gets to have the recording if there's conflicts of meetings. ZBA gets top dibs, it always goes to the ZBA first, cause you're always gonna be hearing a case.
Right.
And then
But like,
it
do
goes
they
down
keep
from
the
there.
Conservation Commission?
Well, they're supposed to record,
Yeah?
but I don't think they do.
I mean, clearly, you're not keeping the library.
No,
The library, occasionally, we actually did, some of our,
yeah, when you
but
put
of
it
course,
up,
it's not like there's anybody here besides the
and when I
three.
see them, even if they don't go live, I upload them and put them on YouTube after,
Mhm.
If I see it, I'll put it up there,
Yeah,
maybe somebody watches it. I think our most popular video got maybe 50 views. Probably 30 of those are me going in and out of it to watch the video to do the minutes. And then we have our regulars. I know when it didn't stream right, because the next day 2 or 3 people will always contact me, why didn't the stream happen? Because I didn't see it last night. And I was like, oh, okay, let me go fix it. I'll get it up in about 20 minutes. It happens. People do watch it.
yes,
Well,
yeah.
I think
Got
it's
nothing else to do?
I think it's good for transparency,
Yeah, transparency, actually, it's
Yeah.
the reason to do this. Yeah.
Right.
Anybody's got a
Well,
complaint, you
I
probably
think
have
you've
to hear about
answered
it
my
soon.
question, because I was a little confused on that.
Because originally that said audio recording, and I don't audio record them. It's
Right.
video now.
So anyway, now I have no problems at all with the bylaws,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I will second that.
And are we keeping in the part where we have to approve this at 2 separate meetings before it can be amended? That's what it says in the
Is that the
bylaws.
statute, or is that,
It might be a statute, but it says it in our bylaws that we have to approve it twice before
Okay.
it can be changed.
okay, so here's one, and next time we have.
A
our-
public hearing or
Right,
something, we'll do
just-
it.
Yeah.
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 We haven't done this since 2008.
Nope.
Oh, that's interesting, because I think, yeah, whatever I had was simply it was just adopted in 2002. So, yeah, so obviously, yeah, I guess I must have gotten, where did I find this one? I thought I took this off of you.
You might have the draft I did at the previous meeting, and then Barbara
Okay.
sent me some changes, and then I made some adjustments.
Okay,
And then I sent them back out again,
okay. Anyway,
because her suggestions were really good, so I made them.
I only printed the one you sent with this meeting
Yeah.
announcement, so I think I got the latest and
I
greatest.
handled that other paragraph you said where it didn't make any sense, and I split it into 2.
You did,
And it
yes.
makes sense now. And if you have the old one, we can show what it used to be.
Should we add that public hearings are kept on number 3?
I left it out because there's no law saying that we have to do that. and-
Okay, all right. No, I just,
I mean, it's up to the board, but
because, I mean, we're talking about the board meetings and then we were talking
two,
about public
I also
hearings.
left it out just in case of, there have been incidents where
Things got
the
messed up.
recording didn't work.
Yeah,
And I didn't wanna be
Oh,
down to a
right.
technical difficulty causing us to get in trouble with our
And
bylaws.
Yeah,
have
that
to
makes
redo
sense.
Redo the hearing,
Correct,
right,
yeah,
yeah.
we don't have time to do one hearing, never do
Yeah.
it.
cause that has happened in the
Yeah.
past where, you know, you think it's working and then it just doesn't. Or we lose power, there's a power surge
Yeah.
and it goes down.
No, we never lose
Never,
power.
ever lose power in the town of Webster.
Never.
That's why everybody
Burns
has a
went off a lot of
generator.
propane that
That's
would refute that.
exactly it.
My internet went down Sunday morning, which meant my Square went down, which meant my debit card went down. Talk about somebody, ta-dun, ta-dun, ta-dun. I looked at my
Should talk
cousin.
to you about that at some point,
Oh,
the square.
I talked to my cousin, I looked at Laura, I go, tell him he's gonna fix it! Cause I was like, everybody does it with a debit card now, you
Yeah.
don't, you know,
Yeah.
people.
Oh, no,
That's
no,
why
no,
I wanna
use
talk
credit
to you,
card.
cause I wanna take credit cards over at town hall. And we're trying to find a cheap way where we could do that and accommodate
It's-
people.
But I thought that whenever you're doing that, you know, in the government, you've gotta add, you know, whatever it's gonna
Yeah.
cost, like 2.5%.
Usually, they have separate municipal accounts with these people where they just add in the fees and put it on the customer.
If you go
instead
through a
of-
third party, yes.
Yeah,
But if you own the system, you're working directly with one, and processing your own credit card transactions, then, no, you won't pay that extra fee, but we need to update the town fee schedule to accommodate the fees we're gonna be paying to the credit card company.
no,
So-
because the credit card fees are gonna go right off of whatever credit
Whoever
card
pays their
fee.
taxes is paying the third party
Whoever pays
provider
the,
for
whoever
processing.
pays by credit card, if you choose to pay that, at
Yes.
least this is how it was in the last town. We tell people right when they go to pay for their motor vehicle with their credit card, for example, it's like, there is this much surcharge,
fee.
and
Yes.
that's all on you.
That's the
town does
credit
not
card
eat that.
company,
Right.
processing company.
That's your fee, the town does not cover that, that's out of your pocket.
Yep,
And
but it's
people
not
know that
revenue to
going in.
Webster.
No, it doesn't come to us. But people still do it, and it does not make sense to me. I'll bring in a check every time, but, or I will go use the ATM, that is
I
my
have
bank.
customers,
and-
they won't do it, they bring me a check,
Yeah,
which,
And
Okay.
can you take the debit card?
that's so debit card, credit card should work the same if it's the,
Yeah, I treat it the same way, because,
Yeah.
you know, one of my, the garage, you know, that I use, he told me if you used a credit card, they were gonna add on to it, you know, 2.5%. He
Mhm.
said, but if you have your debit card, he said, we just take it.
Debit cards have a very minuscule amount of finance charges through the processing
That's
company.
because
is-
there's a
It's like
class action
pennies on
suit.
it, yeah, but credit cards, oh yeah, there's
Well, yeah, no, credit cards, yeah.
bigger fees, so
But
yeah,
they-
they can absorb that.
Yeah.
There used to be, back when I was working, a law that said you couldn't charge the customer the extra amount for processing by credit card. And apparently
Where
that
was
has
this?
gone away.
right.
So,
Where was that? In Alaska?
in Anchorage, yeah, in Anchorage. But it was the credit card companies, because we set up credit card stuff for building permits. So people could come in, actually they left us their credit card number and we ended up with a website where we could store them and then they could call in and say, you know, I need to put a water heater in blah, blah, blah place, I need to get a permit. And that kicked off, you know, we'll send you the permit and then we'll also send the inspector when you plan to put it in. So, but at the time,
Anchorage was losing 2 or 3%.
no, we raised our fees.
Oh, so even if you paid for cash, then you were really taking a hit.
This
no?
is, yeah, this is a service to our customers. If you want to use this, you know, so, and I was the admin officer, so I'm calculating, okay, how much money is it going to cost us to run credit cards? And then apply that to our schedule of fees. Because the building department was self-sufficient. All the money coming in from building permits paid for the process. So, we didn't have any tax support at all. So we
Currently,
raised
there's
our
a class
fees.
action from 2004 to 2019, and I only know this because we accept credit cards. And they have all the information, and you have to apply, and this class action, they're gonna reimburse pennies.
Oh, of course,
For-
the lawyers make money on
Right.
those
Yeah.
things.
But I was like amazed, I was like, holy cow, they had all my information, they had everything.
Oh,
And they
yeah.
really they do charge you a lot, but they were overcharging, it was like MasterCard and Visa were really running it, and I guess they have that lawsuit, so that's what they're doing now,
Yeah.
so.
Should we entertain a motion to adjourn?
I suppose.
You gonna make the motion?
I will make the motion to adjourn,
Seconded.
so we can shut off the recording.
I am gonna go do that.
All in favor?
And that was
Aye.
Barbara.
Aye.
Aye.
Yes. Aye.
Zippers.
Off to see the wizard.